Let Satan give you a wake-up call. Let me explain. The basics part 19, by the way. A lot of times in boxing or other martial arts like that, two competitors that are equally skilled, they settle into this pattern, this rhythm where it's almost like patty cake. Neither one of them is getting an advantage. You know, both of them, they're blocking, but neither one of them are really getting anywhere. It's kind of like it's a tie or something like that. And then suddenly one sneaks through with a punch and bam, you know, rocks the guy. Now, a lot of times that wakes that guy up and he goes, oh yeah, I'm in a fight, I forgot. He gets more aggressive and he might even knock the other guy out. That happens all the time. It's called a wake-up call. You know, another fighter might just crumble. It depends on the fighter, right? What they do with that. And we can fall into a complacency in life, neglecting our relationship with the Lord as we kind of like, oh, things are, you know, they're okay. Hey, you may even be getting battered left and right, but you grow used to that. You grow used to that, and even then you get away from the Lord. Or hey, Satan may not be bothering you for a season or something like that, and you start to, life isn't so bad. You know, I'll just do this other stuff later. You know, you stop the Bible study, you stop reading the Bible. You know, whatever that looks like for you, going to church, focusing on the Lord, whatever that looks like for you. And wham, he hits. So what are you going to do? Are you going to run to the Lord like, oh yeah, I forgot. I'm in a spiritual battle down here on earth. And a lot of times when you run and get back to that basics, back to that foundation in Christ, then you can hit back and get him off of you. So I'm not saying to just suffer through whatever the problem is. I'm talking about when you're no longer moved by the problem, when you get your foundation in Christ, then you can move the problem, if that makes sense. So that might look like getting healed from the disease, you know, your household coming to the Lord, or getting that financial blessing, whatever the case may be. But we can be lulled to sleep, sometimes by success, sometimes by just repeated failure. It's the same thing over and over, and we just kind of go into this, you know, autopilot, into this robotic pattern of life. And that's what Satan wants to do. He wants to get all of your thoughts away from Jesus, the supernatural Jesus, into this life, just the human rationale, human, you know, reasoning, what you can see with the five senses. Hey, all of that has its place. It's fine. I'm not against that. It's not bad. But Satan wants to blind you that that's all there is. And then when you're nice and blinded, bam, he's going to hit you. But again, use this occasion to get back strengthened in the Lord. The Lord's glad to see you. He's not, well, oh, you coming to me again, huh? Like, hey, I got out there, you know, I got my tail kicked a little bit here. My bad. Okay. He wants you to come back to him. He wants that relationship with you. And then you and him both put a whooping on the devil. One of the pastors I admire the most is Dan Moeller. And he says, hey, when you squeeze an orange juice comes out, right? That's what should come out. If you squeeze an orange and apple juice comes out, it wasn't really an orange, was it? Okay, so every time the devil squeezes you, does Jesus come out? Because he doesn't want anything to do with Jesus, okay? He's like, okay, my bad. You know, let me out of here. So go on the offense and make him sorry he ever messed with you or your family. God bless you.